Up podcast with Brigham Blackham. I have my new friend Jose with me. It is such an honor and a privilege to be live with you today. We are going to be talking about how he was a 35-year CEO in the petroleum industry, and then he was wrongfully detained for almost 5 years. It is such an honor to have you on today, and the resilience and the unbreakable attitude and spirit that you have. We're going to be talking about 4 secrets, guys, to be unbreakable. And I'm so honored to have you on today. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you're feeling today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Abraham. Well, this is a journey. It's been quite a journey. I have gonna have 17 months. I came back because I came back in October 2022, almost 17 months. And it has been quite a journey. Really. So today I'm very, very connected with what is called the hostage community here in the U.S. So I work and support most of the foundation that work in that area. That we can talk a little bit later on that. And I have my leadership and coaching program. And I also have been speaking about this and became the author. Today I received a prototype of what is going to be the book that is going to be out in maybe 1 or 2 weeks. So we can talk also later on that.
Yeah, you want to look out for his book. It's From Hero to Villain, right?
From Hero to
Villain. Phenomenal book. I hope that you guys really look out for that. Now, Jose, let's first start out. How did this hostage situation go down? I know there are lots of different ideas about what that's like, but I'd love to hear your perspective. How did this go down?
Well, every hostage situation, of course, is different. But my particular case, as you said, I was an executive in the oil and gas during 35 years. And at the end of my career, I was here based in Houston in Circo Petroleum, that is the oil and gas company that belongs to PDVSA, that is the Venezuelan oil company, but it's a U.S.-based company. Many people know Circo because they have more than 6,000 gas stations across the U.S., yeah. It has 3 big refineries. So it's a big company. So I was the CEO of that company. That was in 2017. And the administration that was in place at that moment was imposing sanctions to Venezuela that had become a communist regime. So we were caught in the middle of that unfortunate situation because we did a last-minute travel that we were called to Venezuela, and we were caught in the middle of the political tension between the U.S. and Venezuela, very similar that today is happening with Ukraine and all this stuff. Of course, there was not a war, but there was kind of a very big political thing going because the U.S. government was trying to, force this regime to be out. And well, we were inadvertently caught in that tension, and we were caught as hostage of that situation. We became the hostage, and our negotiation was really hard, and that's why we stayed there 5 years.
Wow, 5-year negotiation. That
5-year negotiation, yes.
That is so hard for me to wrap my head around. That's
because that is the problem. That this is something that today I'm very aware, and I talk a lot about that. That is called the hostage diplomacy. This is a very, very sophisticated technique of these evil countries to do diplomacy. That is, take citizens of a country and they use it to leverage. You became political pawns and bargain chips. And it's not only Venezuela, because, you have China doing it, you have Iran doing it, you have the Hamas in the Middle East doing it, you have Russia doing it, and a lot of, these countries doing it. And in the technique is always the same. They take a normal person, maybe with a high profile, they take you, they use you as a political pawn, and then they begin to ask for you, they begin to leverage you. And normally what they ask for you is really big. In our case, they were asking at the beginning to get lifted the sanctions of the country, and then they were asking to get the oil ban, lifted the oil ban. Can you imagine how hard those negotiations become? Because it's talking about national policy,
Right. And you think about it, that's almost completely out of your control. So it just feels totally hopeless.
You get in the middle of a situation that the only they have to do is wait and see. Not all. You can lose. I remember when I was in this situation, I had a lawyer in Venezuela.
Mhm.
And the lawyer always was frustrated because this is nothing that had to do with legal thing. So they set up sham trial, and he was always, putting complaints, and he was totally frustrated. And one day I told him, "Hey guys, stay calm, do your thing, because only I need is that you document my situation. But even if I had Superman and Batman as my lawyer, they would not fix it, because this is something beyond. It's two countries getting together. That's it. That's it."
Well, let's talk about the human element behind this, because it's one thing to understand this at a psychological level, saying, well, you're being used as a pawn or a bargaining chip. But what did that do for you as far as your spirit, your feelings? How did that make you feel all the way through this process?
Well, this is a very interesting question, because the way I discovered how was the process, that it's a carousels of emotions, because you are caught, as I said, in the middle of this political situation. So if the situation are going good, your situation is good. If the situation are going bad, you're going bad. That was our case, because the first year there was no communication. The first year of my 5 years, there was no communication between the U.S. and Venezuela. It was so bad that the relation that they recalled the U.S. ambassador. Everybody knows a little bit about diplomacy. When the ambassador is recalled, it's because the situation is in the bottom. So they recalled the ambassador, and they were really left behind. That year for us was one of the darkest moments that you can ever imagine. Well, after that, the situation began to evolve, because they begin to have like an indirect conversation, and the last year became to be more relaxed because they were having direct talks. So it's like a carousels of emotion. You're in the middle of that. Not only you, your family. Remember, you have family. In our case, our family was going through the same nightmare.
So your family was just riding this roller coaster of emotions. That first year just felt totally hopeless. Just not even sure if you're ever going to be able to come back home.
Picture this: you are disappeared, you are isolated, you have 1 year without no communication. Can you imagine what they're feeling at the time? They can feel that, because they didn't have no communication. The first 10 months, we were totally incommunicated. Not only incommunicated, we didn't have no sense of the time, because we had the light 24/7.
Wow.
You lose the sense of time, because this guy, what they wanted to do was break us, to give the message to the U.S. that, see how I got the control. So you become really a bargain chip of the situation.
Wow. And they tried to break you, not just by having the light there the whole time, taking away a lot of your sense of who you were, because you don't get to interact with anybody. There's no communication. It was just you and 5 other people, right? So 6 people.
We were separated. I was
totally separated. You didn't even know.
I was totally separated. I saw these guys 1 year after. 1 year after is that we got together. Well, after 1 year, because the negotiation, as I said, were stopped. So the U.S. decided to go through the UN. The UN flew to Venezuela, and they pushed the situation, and we got together 1 year after. I saw these guys 1 year after. So the first year, I didn't know where they were. Even I didn't know if they were alive.
Total isolation. And
total isolation, yes.
How do you keep your mind when you're in total isolation? How do you not lose yourself and your morals? How did you do that?
Well, this is a very interesting question, because the first month, I don't have the chronology of the time, because it's difficult to, but I don't know. The first months I was hopeless. I was clueless. And I really was having, very, very bad feelings. At some point, I was even thinking to commit suicide, because, you feel that you're going to be there forever.
Yeah.
But, there is something always that comes that, the human nature has something that You don't know. You have that inner force. And that's why I always talk about the unbreakable spirit, because at some point I decided to twist. And the first time I had a call with my wife that I couldn't hear her voice and see that they were really working hard for us and they were, doing their best, that gave you a boost of hope. And when you go to that boost of hope is where you switch your mindset. So when it's a matter of make us a switch in the mindset. When we did that switch in the mindset is when the situation began to evolve to us. And that became to be like an evolution, because after we received the visit of the UN and we worked out together, we were allowed to begin to receive foods from our family, because everybody that knows a little bit the situation in Venezuela, 2017, there were those sanctions. The effect of the sanction began to happen in 2018, 1 year after. So the country was starving. There was no food. There was no medicine. And we were starving too. So I lost 100 pounds. So the UN, 100 pounds, I lost 100 pounds. I was like a skeleton. And the UN, when they saw us, they began to force the government to allow us to bring our family food. So my family sent my eldest son to Colombia, and from Colombia he began to send food to Venezuela. That's why we're allowed to get food. I decided, because I didn't have nothing to lose, to begin to smuggle letters inside the trash can that I was returning, and I began to have communication with my wife through letters. So those letters, I begin to write to her every 2 or 3 days, and she replied to me like every 2 or 3 days. So we began to have this communication through secret letters, and those secret letters became like a 3-year letters, became like 1,000 letters, and that became to be, today was going to be my book. So my book is based on that. The letters that I wrote during 3 years, they were my memoir, and that's why you can feel that roller coaster. Because depending on the situation, my mood could have been very low. At the end, it began to be very, very, very high. So this is my legacy that today I'm putting in my book, that anything in your life is matter the way how you decide to face. And it's a very particular choice. I decided at the end to go in the right way and decided to begin to work hard to bring myself in one piece to my family, on one piece, and be sane in body and soul and spirit. That was my final decision. That's why I could come back and be sane.
I think when you really have a decision, you can say, well, I could have chosen despair and depression and stayed in that state, and you would have been 100% justified. That living through hell in so many different respects. But being able to have all these challenging circumstances and yet still have that resilience, that unshakable spirit, that's so honorable. Let's talk a little bit more about what these 4 keys or these 4 ideas that you have about how to keep that unshakable spirit about you. How do you do that now in business and as a coach?
Because there are several things that the people have to keep in mind. The first thing, that any situation in your life, you have to be calm and focused. Mm-hmm. You have to be calm and focused in the situation. That's the first thing. Yeah. Because when you go to any adverse situation in life, my situation was very extreme, but you can be going in any challenge in your life or in your business. Let's say you're having a big challenge in your business. So you first have to be calm and focused and see the things that you can control and the things that you cannot control. Because that, for me, that was something really helpful. Understand? Because at the beginning, I was trying to control things that were not under my control. So I decided to let it go and be focused on the things that I could control. In my case, was taking care of myself. So then I went to another part, is begin to think that see the things in a positive way. Be positive. Even in the darkest circumstance, be positive. When you decided to be positive, you will see the things in a different way. Yeah. Always will see. Connect to the people that surrounds you and that loves you. That in my case was my family. My family. I'm here because of my family. all what they did for me. And I got that strong connection with them and with my peers, by the way, because after 1 year that we were putting together, we developed a strong bond and decided to cheer us, help us. You know, if anybody was down, be there. Any argument, move it on. So we did a lot of things to keep the things, you know, galvanized and get connected to your spiritual side. Look inside yourself. Look back your spirituality. In my case, we went through a lot of spirituality because we begin to read the Bible. I am a God believer. I understand there are people who have another belief, so I'm a God believer. So we get to stick to the Bible. We get to read the Bible on a daily basis. We begin to pray. And that gave us a lot of hope. When you do these 4 things, and of course, there is a 5th one that is important, that is take care of your physical and mental health. This is also very important. Even we were in that dark place, we were exercising in a daily basis. We did yoga, we did meditation, we did static running, we did push-up. We did a lot of things in a daily basis. And for our mental health, when we were alone, we were reading every day, we were writing our letters, and even we were having fun. We began to play domino. So we try to do things in a way to keep our mind always working in the positive way. That can be applied to any business, because if you're a business owner and you have any challenge in your life, if you apply these techniques, see the situation you're going, be focused, think that things can be done in a positive way. Get connected with the people. This is something important that today, one of the things that I talk very, very loudly is the empathy with employees. One of the big issues that sometimes the leaders have is they don't have the connection with the people. You know, you're in this top position, you create a shield, and you don't have that connection. The leaders that get connect with the people are the leaders that get success, because at the end, this is something related to being human. You know, if you take the suits out and you take the title out, you're a people. You're a human being. So this is the way you can connect with your people. So the great leaders are those that make that connection. If you make that connection, believe me, they will support you, because now you have the people that you have the empathy, that you understand them, and now they can work with you, and they're gonna always give the extra mile if any challenge that you're having in your business. So, you know, it's a matter of make that connection. And the connection with the spirituality is very important. This is something that people sometimes miss. You can be in any business and maybe you're doing great, but if you're not having that connection with your spirituality, you can be rich, but you're never going to be abundant. So that is the key of the abundance. Be connected with your spirituality. I'm today very connected. I do today church service. I'm connected with my church. I'm trying to do more and more of that, because this is part of my new thing in life.
I love that. That was an excellent answer. One of the things that stuck out to me was, as you're connecting with people, with God, that connection is the thing that keeps you going.
Yeah.
And when you feel disconnected, because I'm sure this has not just happened to me, I know it happens to more people, it happens to you. When you feel disconnected, what do you do to be able to reconnect, to re-engage?
This is a daily challenge. Yesterday happened something to me, and there was a situation that pissed me off. I was angry, and my wife told me, "What's going on?" They said, "Well, happened this," and then I decided to go back, refresh the situation, and because the brain is like that. You always have to be going back and back, because you know the negative thoughts always are there. Right. Always are there, and you can be always going to that way inadvertently. This is a daily challenge. But how you can do it? Take care of the moments in your life, even the small things. When you awake and you are breathing, express gratitude.
Mm.
The small things, if you're going to walk with your dogs, express gratitude. If you're going to have a fresh air, express gratitude. You're alive. So when you begin to express gratitude, so now you are looking things in a more positive way. So it creates the mood. You create the mood, and thinking that even you're going in any bad situation, the things can improve, because believe me, everything is here. It's in your mind. So the way you see the things happen is the way they're going to happen. The other day, I was hearing a person talking about that it's very compelling, because when you're having positive thoughts, your brain begins to create the dots in your neurons. So you begin to create like a net of them, and they begin to grow and grow and grow and grow. And at the end, that becomes your reality.
Yeah.
So having that positive thought in a way that on a daily basis, at the end, that becomes your reality. So whatever you think is going to be your reality. If you're having a negative thought, that's going to be your reality. If you have a positive thought, that's going to be your reality. It's your choice.
Yeah. I guess our brain, it really does have that confirmation bias. So if we have this neutral situation, how we think about it, whether it's positive or negative, that will be our reality. Our thoughts become reality, and our words that we speak to existence become the system in which we see that reality. So
the speech is something so powerful.
Yeah.
And today I'm very connected to my church. My pastor is always very, very, that's every word that you take out, you have to take care, because the thing you say becomes your reality. You are decreting whatever you're saying is what's going to happen.
Yeah, your word becomes flesh, if we can use a biblical term.
Flesh. It becomes flesh. Yes.
Our reality is spoken into existence.
Yes, correct.
What we put into our head is so essential. Now, when you are surrounded with negativity, when you're surrounded by people that are putting you down, you're being hurt, not just emotionally, but sometimes physically. What do you do? What did you do? Because you're not in that situation right now. What did you do to keep that mentality, to keep that sharpness, and say, this situation is awful, but I can choose how I respond?
That's the way. That's why you need to be focused, because when you're focused, you can see exactly what is the situation. If you're surrounded with negative people, take them out. Don't have negative people in your circle. So this is very key, because unfortunately sometimes again, this is something that even happens in your life. You have a belief, you have a goal or something in your life, and then you have all these people saying you're not going to make it. No, you don't have the skill. You can do the blah 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 blah. Isolate yourself of that type of thoughts. So be surrounded by people that really support you and believe in you, and the other people, well, even they can be your family. Sometimes that happen in the families, unfortunately. That happen even in the family.
I think of this as what is it that you are ingesting, or what are you taking in? Not just through your mouth, but through your ears, through your eyes. What are you surrounding yourself with? That environment. And if you have negative people, maybe you have someone. I think of this expression, an energy vampire, right? Someone that just sucks the energy right out of you. Right?
It sucks you. Yeah.
You want to avoid those types of situations and people, even if they're family at times. That's really challenging. But I'm curious with you, when you've gone through this traumatic experience, there's ways that you can apply it to business. Now that you've been here, you said it was 2017 is when you came back.
Yeah.
What are some of the...
No, 2022 is I came back. 2022,
that's right. 2017 to 2022. So in 2022, you came back. You've been here for 17 or so months now.
Mm-hmm.
How has this equipped you to go out there and do even more in business? Because you had a 35-year career as a CEO, already in every respect extremely successful. How has this motivated you or equipped you to be even that next level version of yourself?
Because for me, this has been something that has been evolving. When I came back, one month after I came back, our family had created with another families a movement called the Bring Our Family Home Campaign. That was a movement that made the pressure to bring us back. So they have created a mural in Washington with our faces, 19 faces with big mural, like 6.2 feet tall, every face. Very, very, very big mural in Washington with all their faces. By the way, in one of the faces that was there was a guy that is in Russia, Paul Whelan. There was Brittany Griner that was in Russia. There was a guy that he was in Rwanda, Paul Rusesabagina. There was Mark Fogel that was in Afghanistan, Mark Sweden in China, Barack Namasi of Iran. A lot of Americans that are all over the world, our faces were there. So I told my wife, hey, I want to go to the mural and say thanks to God and take me a photo with the mural. Well, I didn't know that I was the first hostage that returned to go to the mural. So when I went there, 1 month after I came back, I saw all the families of the former hostage and all the families that still have hostage here in the U.S. And that was a boom to my heart. When I met all those people and I heard their story and I began to get connected and I saw so much similarities in our situation, that was a great connection for me. I got connected after that with all the foundation that today works to bring Americans back here to the U.S. I'm going to name them. There's one called Hostage U.S., there's one called Hosted Aid Worldwide. There is the James Foley Legacy Foundation. There is the Amer Fakuri Foundation. There is the Bill Richardson Center, and the Bring Our Family Home campaign is part of that. The campaign that was created with the family, including my family. So all these foundations, there are another one, but these are the main ones. I'm connected to all of them today. So that connection and that work with all this family is what made me create my coaching program, because my coaching program, I decided to craft it based on my survivor experience and that support that I was given through them. So I decided, because I had that leadership skills in my oil and gas experience, what I did is combine both experience and created a coaching program. And my speech is also based on that. So I decided to convert my ordeal, my new experience with this family, and now something that I can help companies with their challenges, because I had the skills, but now I have the survivor skills that I didn't ask to have it, but I went through that. So I went through it. I experienced it. I made it work because I'm here. I came back. And that's why I decided to pivot my career.
I love it. And what I love, this word keeps popping up. It's my word for 2024 is connection. You created a connection with these people, these hostage families. And a lot of times it's a deeper motivation when you have a face behind who you're talking to. You have an organization that, not just one, but multiple organizations that you're connected with. When you see the people, you connect with those people in a way that lets you know, oh, I can actually help you. I can serve you. I can give you a way that you can improve your life or solve some challenges. That's such a wonderful thing that you're doing as a coach. So when
let me say something related to that.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say an example that for me was really funny. Last week, I was in Washington with the Jane Foley Legacy Foundation. They did the big gala. They brought Sting. By the way, I had the opportunity to meet Sting in person.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah. I have in my LinkedIn, I have a photo with him. And 2 weeks before, I was in the Hosted U.S. Gala too. When I was arriving to the Hosted U.S. Gala, they have a lot of donors and supporters, because they're more. This has become like a movement. So many big companies are supporting these foundations. So I was going to the event, and I began to receive people saying, "Hey, I love what you're doing. Thank you for what you're doing." And I got, why this guy are saying that to me? I realized that they had this private meeting with the donors, and they show a video I recorded to them when during Thanksgiving, the Giving Thursday, I recorded a video to support their fundraising campaign. they show to the donors the way the former hostages are supporting them. It was my case. So for me, it was kind of a delightful knowing that they were putting me to them like an example. Last week, when I was with the Jane Foley Legacy Foundation, that is a wonderful foundation, Miss Diane Foley, she wrote her book too, based on her experience, because the people that are not aware, Miss Diane Foley is the mother of Jane Foley, the journalist who was kidnapped and killed in Syria like 12 years ago. They killed him alive. ISIS killed him alive. So she decided to create a foundation after that. So I really admire that lady. And knowing them in person, the Amer Fakouri Foundation was a guy called Amer Fakouri. Her two daughters today run the foundation. So, and the Hosted Aid Foundation is a former Iran guy. So there are people that went through situations that created this foundation. And the beauty of that, and now I'm connected to them. And I always tell them, I'm here to put my voice to help as much as you need. Because my voice today is part of helping others in the situation. What's going on today in the Middle East is a big thing. They're going there. By the way, I had the opportunity to meet some of the families that have people in the Middle East there. So, that really creates you the really passion that this is more like a calling, like a mission to continue doing it.
Absolutely. Now, I'm also curious. I loved your response, by the way, but I'm curious, when you're talking with someone that is taking your coaching or is going through some things that may not, at least at their level, feel quite as extreme, how do you help them still see that every person will experience life in similar ways, and help them see those patterns of progress rather than stagnation? How do you help them progress in that?
Because you have to identify the problem. The first thing is you have to do it. You identify the problem. Why you identify the problem? You isolate the problem, and then you dissect the problem and begin to see what is the exact situation with the problem. As I said, there are situations you can control. There are situations you cannot control. So you take out the one that you don't not control. That doesn't mean that you don't take care. You are aware of that, but you don't put time on that. So you dedicate, you get focused on the thing that you really can control. And you begin to work on that, because sometimes it's unbelievable that there are pure communication problems, for example. You have communication problems. Well, you have to improve your communication skills. Sometimes when you're in a leader position, you become hostage to your own situation. It's amazing how the people get kept in their own beliefs, and that you transfer to all your organization. When you make this mindset change, is that things begin to evolve. So if you're having communication problem, I help them to improve. If you're having problems with connection with the people, I help them to do that too. Sometimes a matter of creating team building situations, improving networking. It's amazing how most of the problems that people have are people problems. Are more related to people that people believe. So that's the way I work.
I love it. So just to recap that, you said really isolate what is your controllable, and you focus on your controllables, not your uncontrollables.
Correct.
And then figure out, is there not just a how to do this, but a who attached to it? Who is it that is going to help you get to that next level?
Correct.
And I love that. Such a simple way to do this, but in practice, man.
But you know why? Because this is the way I discovered it. Because even I had my career experience was a corporate career, that I was working with people. I was doing things that, the common sense and the strategy and the planning and the things that you learn in life, you do it. But when you go through a situation like the one I went, it's human nature that is there. When I was in my captive situation, because Venezuela is a communist regime, I was in a military basement with all the political prisoners of Venezuela. So the people that were with me were not normal prisoners. Were high profile people, journalists, human rights advocates, politicians, militaries, this type of person. Mm-hmm. But you know what all of us had in common?
I totally agree. Those that really plug in, they're connected, they're willing to
become successful.
Do that work. Yeah, and finding
you can any example of that.
Yeah, go ahead. There's multiple examples of it, and if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit of how that networking skill that you've developed has been able to help you in business, how it's been able to help you in coaching, how it's been able to help you all the way through this process of discovering this next level of yourself. How has networking done that for you?
Well, I call it law of attraction, because when you begin to talk about this and put your message out, you get more and more connected to people. And people, I before this recording, I did a call to a guy that I was introduced with a lady that she lives in the Caribbean island, and she introduced. Well, long story short, this guy has a global reach in leadership, and he's offering his services to begin to promote my book through their company. So you begin to make more and more connections with people that sometimes you say, how I connect with the people. It's kind of a law of attraction, because you are talking from your heart. You really are trying to put your message out that you really are here to help. So when you begin to talk this way, you get more and more connected. For example, in my previous life, I didn't have social media. In the past, I was so focused in my job that I didn't take care of social media. When I began to do my social media, I'm very active today in LinkedIn. I do audio rooms. I have a weekly newsletter. I have now in a radio show every Monday a program. I am posting things related to leadership and resilience. By the way, my newsletter is called Building Resilience. I wrote my book. I'm speaking. So you begin to get more and more and more connected to people that are like-minded, that have the same. It's kind of you are vibrating in the same level they are. This is the way you get connected.
I love it. And it sounds like it's not just, hey, what can I get from you? It's how can I give? You're giving back in newsletters, giving back in books, giving back your experience.
Because always it's a matter of giving back. When you give back, you receive in return. That you always give back. This is the way I discovered it. By the way, my pastor always talks about that. That you have to, because this is the way it has to happen.
It's so true. And Jose, I really appreciate the way that you are going about making these connections, because the way that you reached out to me, I was like, that was very genuine, very kind. And your story is such an impactful story. More people need to hear it. And that's why I'm so happy to have you on the podcast and share a little bit more about all these different things that you've experienced. Because guys, when we share our experiences, when we have these stories and they live in us, if we don't share them, they die in us. Yeah. But if we share that story can live on. It can inspire, it can equip so many more people. So I have a great question. This is one of my favorite questions to ask. What was a question that I didn't ask that you wish that I had?
Well, more about my book, because you said it very well. And exactly my book, I want that to become my legacy, because my story is a story. It can be a story that can happen, not commonly, but can happen to many people. Mm-hmm. But the way we decided to overcome the situation, the way we managed to survive, the way my family handled our situation is the way I believe that I can put the message out that anything in life you can survive. It's matter of having the proper mindset, finding the purpose, having the people that love you with you connect with that spirituality, and that's going to become my legacy in my book. I wanted that people, when they finish reading the book and when they close it, say, wow, is this guy went through this and is here, I can do myself. So that's the way I really think there's going to be my legacy for my grandsons and my family to come and to the, so that's the way I decided to put, not only talking, I wanted to write it, and this is going to be my legacy, my book. So my book is going to be out maybe in 2 weeks in the major platform. In this moment is in pre-order through a webpage called Publicizer. They're going to there, but it's going to be physically and virtually in Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Inger's Park, and all the major outlets.
Excellent. I'm really excited to read it. I think you're going to have such a great legacy. You already have a great legacy, but being able to put it on paper and give it to somebody and have them have their own experience this and relive it, not just relate it, but relive it. I think that's the power of a great story. So you get to relive those experiences and you get to see them from multiple aspects. So thank you so much for the energy that you put into that book, and then also the learning, the pondering, the difficulty. Because guys, it's not just something that pops out of your head. It takes some work. It takes some struggle. So in the last moment that we have together, is there one piece of actionable advice or something that's an encouragement that you'd like to give our audience as you're signing off?
Well, I encourage the audience that if you're going to struggle in your life, you're going to any adversity in your life, thinking all what I said today, think that the things can be overcome. Even if you're going in the darkest moment in your life, believe that you can make it, that you need to have the positive mindset. And this is something by choice. Everybody has that choice if you decided to go to the negative way or if you decided to go in the positive way. And again, I'm here to help. I have my coaching program. I have also my speaking program that can, anybody that wants to connect me, I'm here to open. I'm in LinkedIn. You can go in LinkedIn and see all the stuff that I'm putting there. I
love it. Well, thank you so much, Jose. This has been such a wonderful experience talking with you. I feel way more connected now. Thank you for sharing some heartbeats with me and sharing some ideas. And thanks for encouraging me to continue to learn Spanish too. You're at the top of our call.
Yeah,
hey, how's your Spanish going?
Great.
Muy agradecido para
Spanish.
para hablar contigo. Es un placer.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. La próxima vez lo hacemos en español.
Sí, gracias para su ayuda y para sus palabras. Muy bien. Es un placer. Un gran placer. Sí. Okay, gracias. All right, guys, thank you so much. If you enjoyed this, if you feel like you want to hear more, learn more, remember, we have so many of these Leveling Up podcasts. I want to make sure that you experience this continually. We have so many great people. Right up next, we actually even have one named Von Ray. He's a phenomenal Spanish teacher, brilliant individual, so excited. And if you would like, Jose, you're welcome to stay.
From Hero to Villain, somebody's asking the name of the book. From Hero to Villain, my true story of the 606. I don't know if you want, I can put the link there.
Yeah, feel free to put the link in there. I'll also make sure that when that link is live in the next 2 weeks, you'll just send me that link and I'll put it into the show description as well. So
okay. Well, thank you, the people that are connected. I'm seeing great comment there. I love you guys. And thank you for supporting me, because this is a mission in life that help others and put the message out, because really there are a lot of people going through this situation and the people are not aware. Believe me, now I am connected. Wow, you can get surprised how many people are having, and the families.
For sure. Well, thank you so much, Jose. Guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless. And we're going to turn the time over to Mr. Von Ray as well. So thanks again, Jose. Appreciate you.
Bye.
All right.